Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Justin.
and Max Games, and we'll be doing a quick and easy review of Trade on the Tigris.
Trade on the Tigris is a game from Tasty Minstrel Games, and I think it came out last year. I think it's from 2018. Ryan Sturm and Jeff Engelstein, designers that I've heard before, but I don't know too much about the games. Let me tell you how we got this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a funny preamble to why we got this game. I don't know, a few months ago, I was sitting at the computer and I was doing my music stuff and I had headphones on. And Mom, who was sitting next to me at her computer, she was watching a review of this game or a playthrough of the game or something like that. And she asked me to take off my headphones and she wanted to tell me about it because she was interested in buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I was only like half paying attention because I'm still listening to what I'm doing and I'm still thinking about it. And she said, oh yeah, you're trading and you move on these things. The one thing that did catch my attention in the sort of half listening about the game was that you start in the middle and as you work out to one of the sides, you get these better opportunities for cards, and I don't know, something about that grabbed me. And I said, yeah, go ahead, buy it. And then I put my headphone back on. Then when the game came in the mail a few days later, I was up at night and I was reading the back of the box and I was like, this doesn't seem like the right game for Mom. Mom is not much into like negotiating and lying and diplomacy.
You can't lie.
Like there's a game that's very popular called Coup,
Oh, yes.
which you love,
Great game.
and Mom refuses to play that
She
game.
hates lying about anything.
Hates lying and the whole thing like that. So like the next day I said, Mom, are you sure that you want this game? I mean, I was like even willing to return it, and I rarely ever return a game. Like, you know, but you know what? I thought about it, and I said, you know what? Let's try something new. Let's try something different. I know you love games where you kind of...
And especially this kind of free trading where you could trade basically everything.
Exactly. So I said, all right, let's keep the game. And only yesterday did we actually open it. It's been like, we've had the game for like 6 weeks or something.
It was just been sitting there.
Just sitting there, and I said, all right, let's open it. I really want to play this one.
So then I learned it.
You learned it, and then the next
You'd
day...
already kind of learned it when we first got it.
Right. I'd watched a couple reviews and things like that. Anyway, we went into it not knowing so much, but the negotiation aspect of the game is really the core element.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you're building a civilization
But
to a certain extent.
most of the round is taken up by that.
And they say in the book that you should have, that you could have like a 5-minute time limit to the negotiation.
But that's, I think, too long, unless maybe you're dealing with 5 or 6 people. So we ended up doing just keep going until no more trades are happening.
Yeah, so we decided, you know what, forget about a timer.
Just keep going until...
I could see with like 6 people,
having something
that might be over the top, like time-wise. But we just said, let's keep it, and then everyone says, all right, I'm not trading anymore. And the trades were we did a long time sometimes with some of the trades, going back and forth. Anyway.
Like, I need your bronze.
I mean, he spent so much our third player.
I spent 3 of these.
Which are these bonus cards you can get, these trading cards, special trading
2
cards.
points. And some weird, like...
Oh, the culture tokens.
To get 1 bronze from our third player.
Because you really wanted to score the high and the bronze.
I need
there's a lot of Euro aspects of the game. There's set collection, and the cards have double meanings, meaning like you can get points, but it's also gonna force you on a track. Which reminds me a little bit of that game Coimbra. Do you remember the game Coimbra? Where, you know, you're gonna get a card and it's gonna do something. You're gonna get the main ability, but you're gonna get a secondary thing.
And did we do a review on that one? I think we did.
Yeah, we did a review on Coimbra.
Go watch the review.
I think we played this twice in one day, and we had a great time with it. I think that one of the keys to the game is understanding when you're in the middle area, you're going to get pretty okay cards. But as you move out on the tracks, you can't go both ways. You're going to have to make a decision. Am I going to go this way? Am I going to go this way? And understanding what the advantages are possible when you get to these outer realms. Because as you get out there, if you can get out there quickly, you can get some big advantages, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So what was some of your review aspects of the game?
My review aspects, or I'll start with the negatives.
The negatives. We'll start with the negatives.
These people, they're really nice.
And they're all unique.
They're all unique, which is very cool. But they just fall over So I wish they were like tokens or cubes or something, not quite as big.
I agree. You know, that especially when you have people that are very close together, they're kind of big
like,
for the spaces that
And
they're
it's
on.
like, I will move my guy.
And you're reaching for cards, and I almost feel like I would just substitute cubes for these guys.
And I also feel like the board should maybe have some like little indents where the different packs can go.
Yeah. I don't really, the design aspect of the game in terms of this, the physical, there's so much cards in and out, you got to put cards underneath and shuffle cards.
There should be more space.
Yeah, there should be more space. And I guess that is one thing, is that they make the board, like not modular, but you could open it up and not have everything so close. In our second game, we had everything kind of opened up, and that was a big improvement.
Yeah.
So even though they show it to you in the instructions one way and how to set it up, I think having more space, you still understand what's going on and what people are doing.
And you're not looking like I am here, look above. It's just you're looking at the number
Yep.
to figure out what deck you need.
Now the first game we played, I saw that there was set collection. You know, if you get a bunch of fish, you can score more points. But the second time I played, I was more interested in getting to further reaches of the.
Which is sometimes good if you get it right. It could be 15 points.
Yeah, getting out in the
Plus
political and religious regions could be a lot of
huge
points.
benefits from those level 3.
That's the key.
Level 3 and level 2 cards have huge benefits. Level 1 and 0 is...
Yeah.
But they're decent. Some of the level 1s or 0s are awful. Level 1s are almost infinitely better than 0s.
Right, yeah. Getting just a little bit out into
Even
one of
just
the
a little
tracks
bit
is going to be a
will
big
help
advantage.
you so much. Because like what I try to do is get into one of the level 1s first turn.
I almost got into level 3 the first turn. Because, you know, this is
all of
one of the cleverest aspects of the game, and I think it could be easily overlooked maybe the first time you're playing it, is the warehouse. You have to play every card that you have, except what you have in the warehouse. So you can decide, you know, in an early round, I'm not going to get a big score. I'm not going to sell all my fish or all of my whatever goods.
I'll keep some of my fish.
Because what's on the bottom might actually push me out further on dictatorship or democracy.
The last round, I got almost no points from scoring things. I just had democracy, 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 Majork, democracy, Majork, democracy.
Right, Marduk, right. Which of these, and that that's another interesting aspect of the game. I read that one of the game designers had an area of expertise in ancient history and stuff like that. So that when he was designing this game, he puts real aspects of the Assyrian, Babylonian, ancient history into the names of guys, gods, places, cards, and so that to me and the era and the iconography, all of it really was very... And in fact, I always like games that inspire you to learn more. Like Lisboa inspired me to learn more about that period. Because
the first thing we did after learning this game is we went on YouTube and looked up YouTube videos about what each of the religions stand for and how they were formed.
And it makes sense in the game. This god is a little bit the red god,
more tacky and violent.
Yeah, there was more
violence.
violence.
This one more peaceful.
Yeah.
And self-beneficial.
Right, self-beneficial. And the same thing with the democracy versus the dictatorship. I think one of the other really clever games is that although if you want to get out very far on one of the tracks, but what happens if you go too far?
Because if you go too far, people what I think of it is people don't take you seriously anymore. So it's
So you get into the place where you can you become an extremist in one of your thoughts, and that's totally true. That's Aristotle said, if you take one virtue and push it too far, it becomes a vice. That's exactly. I might be misquoting my philosophy here, but it's basically that.
Something close.
Something close to that. So if you want to go, let's say, with the Marduk track, that doesn't allow you in every game to say, okay, I'm going to get every red card, because if you do that,
you'll become a
fanatic.
A fanatic.
And if you become a fanatic, you now, instead of getting the super benefit, you go all the way back, theoretically, to the early ones. So you have to balance what I'm going to get. The other really interesting aspect of the game is that the cards, sometimes you want to score them, but they may give you barbarian tokens. Interesting. Anyway, whoever has the most barbarians at the end of each round
will lose 1 point per barbarian, and then discard down to 2 barbarians.
So that way you're not like always the worst.
It's like with 10 points. 11
And
points.
conversely, if you have the most culture,
You get discard down to 2, and then depending on which round it is, you'll choose any level 1, any level 2, any level 3, or last round you can just get 7 points.
so get some points. And actually, that's what won you the last game. So that's really interesting. You know, you might be going, oh, I'm going to do all of this peaceful stuff on this side of the board. And then if you have the most culture at a certain point in the game, you might say, you know what? I'm going to take a level 3 dictatorship card. And with something that you wouldn't have an option otherwise to get. Another clever aspect of this game is you always have choice. You
always will take 2 cards.
You always get 2 cards. You could say, you know what, I don't want to do this one, I'll do with the other one. Of course, sometimes, and it's happened many times.
It's like, which one should I choose?
And are those exactly the same? Yeah.
And I just picked the
I know.
top 2.
Some of the cards out at the 0 level, and
Or
even a
1.
couple at the 1s, might be actually the same, so you don't have
Or
too much
very
choice.
similar benefits.
But they have the same benefit every round. So you're building up
Like
your
if you get,
civilization over time.
If you get a decent or an okay benefit first round, you'll get it 5 times.
Right, so
Or
it's not
4
so bad.
times.
And one of the things that you did, you got a few of these low-level benefits early in the game, but
So
as we could see from the table,
So by the end of the game,
It
every
piled up.
round I was getting 12 basic goods.
and that gives you a lot of flexibility on what you want to trade.
It's like, what basic good do you want? Clay? I got 4
Now,
of those.
talking about trades,
Ugh.
in the first game they say don't use the. You always have to tell the truth about the top part of the card. Let's show a card.
A card.
Okay.
This one, you have to say that it is clay.
Right. You always have to be honest when you're doing a trade. I have a clay, but you don't necessarily have to
Yeah,
say
so
the
the bottom
truth.
part.
Yeah. What's the bottom one? This one. Oh, it's Marduk. So you would
this
go
one
towards
will
Marduk.
move towards Marduk. You could say like, I'll give you clay, and it moves you towards dictatorship.
Right, and someone said, oh, that's what I want. Okay, yes, I'll do that trade. And then they get this, and they're like, you know what? You messed me up. I don't know if I'm going to trade with you again. Or maybe I will trade with you again, but maybe I'll try to mess you up. Or it becomes a psychological game. Now, the points. Let's show some of the points. It's money, but it's really just
technically money.
points.
So there's the 1.
So they come in a bunch of denominations. 1s and 5s and 10s and 20s, and none of us got to 100 points in the game. But that's the one thing that's secret in the game. You don't have to say how much money you have or
The
how many
back
points.
is all the same.
The back is all the same. Overall, though, there's a couple of production things that there's the really small icons on some of the
But
cards.
otherwise, it's a very good game.
Yeah.
And your rating is?
My rating is a solid 9. It's my favorite negotiation game that I've played. Period. And I would recommend this to anyone, even people who don't like negotiation
It's
games.
a good-
This will get you into it.
And it's like nothing like any game we have on our show.
Yeah, we have got tons
There's
of
already
games.
a couple of the games in existence that are similar. But I will raise you 0.5.
So he's got a
9.5.
9.5 and I'm at a 9.
So 9.25 is the very official rating. Justin and Max rating. Trade on the Tigris. Ah!